You cancel plans to stay home with your dog. You tell your cat things you'd never say to another person. And when someone asks why you prefer animals, you laugh it off. But deep down, you know the preference is real. This isn't about loving animals. It's about trust. And once you understand what your brain is actually protecting, the choice makes perfect sense. There's a pattern that starts early. Maybe it was a friend who shared your secret, a parent whose mood you couldn't predict, someone who said one thing and meant another. The brain registers these moments differently than we think. It doesn't just file them as bad experiences, it builds a prediction model. And the model whispers, humans are uncertain. Humans require translation. Humans can lie. Animals don't require that translation. A dog's excitement is exactly what it looks like. A cat's distance isn't personal, it's just how they regulate. There's no subtext to decode, no hidden agenda to unravel. And for a brain that's been burned by human unpredictability, that simplicity feels like oxygen. You're not avoiding people because you're antisocial. You're choosing the relationship where your nervous system doesn't have to stay on guard. Here's the part most people get wrong. They think preferring animals is about escape, about giving up on humans. But attachment research shows something else entirely. When we bond with animals, we're not avoiding connection, we're practicing a version of it that feels safe enough to try. Animals offer what psychologists call unconditional positive regard. They don't judge your appearance, they don't care about your social status, they won't reject you for saying the wrong thing. And for people who've experienced conditional love from humans, love that came with terms, expectations, and withdrawal, this is revolutionary. The bond isn't weaker because it's with an animal, it's often deeper because it's undefended. Your brain runs a constant cost-benefit analysis on relationships. With humans, the equation looks like this: high reward potential, high risk of pain, constant cognitive load to interpret intentions. With animals, it simplifies: moderate reward, low risk, minimal interpretation needed. For people who've been hurt, especially in childhood, especially repeatedly, the brain doesn't choose based on maximum reward. It chooses based on predicted safety. And animals win that calculation almost every time. You stroke your pet and your cortisol drops. Your heart rate slows. The polyvagal system, the part of your nervous system that governs social engagement, actually relaxes because there's no threat assessment happening, no scanning for micro-expressions or tone shifts, just presence. This is why you can cry in front of your dog, but not your best friend. The dog won't tell you you're overreacting, won't try to fix you, won't suddenly become someone you have to manage. Here's where it gets interesting. The preference for animals isn't random, it's diagnostic. It points directly to what broke in human relationships. If you prefer dogs, loyal, enthusiastic, forgiving, you might have experienced betrayal or abandonment. If you prefer cats, independent, boundaried, consistent, you might have been overwhelmed by neediness or control. If you're drawn to reptiles or fish, low demand, observable, predictable, you might have experienced relationships that required constant emotional labor. The animal you choose mirrors the relational wound you're healing from. And once you see this pattern, everything shifts. Because suddenly it's not a personality quirk, it's your psyche trying to build back what was damaged. It's smart, it's adaptive. It's you finding a way to keep your heart open when closing it would have been easier. But there's a trade-off the brain doesn't advertise up front. Animals are safer, yes, but they're also temporary. They age faster. They depend on us completely. And when we've placed our entire capacity for trust in them, their loss doesn't just hurt, it threatens our entire relational framework. People who prefer animals aren't protecting themselves from small pain. They're often protecting themselves from the unbearable kind, the kind where someone sees you completely and chooses to leave anyway, where vulnerability becomes a weapon, where love becomes leverage. Animals can't do that. and that's precisely why we choose them. If you've ever felt broken for preferring animals, heard the jokes, felt the judgment, wondered why you can't just connect with people like everyone else, here's what matters. Your nervous system isn't defective. It's responding to real data. You're not running from connection. You're running toward the kind of connection your body can handle right now. And that's not weakness. That's regulation. The preference for animals isn't the end of your relational story. It's often the bridge. It's how you keep your attachment system alive while you build the safety to risk humans again, on your terms, at your pace, with people who've earned it. So when you choose another evening with your pet over another exhausting social event, you're not failing at being human. You're succeeding at survival. You're honoring what your body needs to feel safe. You're refusing to pretend that connection without safety is connection at all. And eventually, maybe not today, maybe not soon, you'll find that the trust you practiced with animals becomes something you can bring back to people. Slowly, selectively, with humans who prove themselves worthy of what your dog always knew you were worth. The bond with animals isn't a replacement, it's a reminder. A reminder that you're still capable of love, still worthy of it, still open to it, even when everything in your history told you to close that door. Once you understand that your preference isn't pathology, you stop apologizing for it.